This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
And the time right now is 4:27 here on your Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. We want to show you something that happened overnight. This is near 30th and Rural, where heavy rains led to some high water in this area, causing one driver to become stranded. This is a great reminder, as we have had some heavy rain overnight, to turn around, don't drown. The good news is that driver was not injured, but that is due to some sandbags that were over the grates there, causing that high water.
Yes, so keep that in mind as you're driving out there this morning. I know I hit some areas of high water just right here coming off the interstate between Pennsylvania and Meridian Street, so something to keep in mind. We'll keep you updated on any road closures we come across and any other issues for your commute. But right now we want to take a turn over to Todd Clausen, talk about the rainfall that should be moving out of our area pretty soon. Todd.
Yeah, you know, pretty much most of the heavy rain is out of the area. Still some heavier showers at this hour down towards Bedford and into the Seymour area. So keep that in mind as we go throughout the next couple hours. But for most of central Indiana, the heavy rain has come to an end. Not expecting any additional flooding concerns. And honestly, this was needed rainfall across the area. We've been running extremely dry. So many of you picked up some decent rain on Father's Day. Not everybody saw that rainfall, though. And then last night and into the overnight hours, most people got into the rain at some point throughout the evening and overnight hours. Temperatures right now are in the 60s. We're going to keep some spotty showers in the forecast here this morning, probably through about 8, 9 o'clock. And after that, the trend will be for the clouds to decrease. By the time we get to the afternoon hours, we should be able to work the sunshine in. You'll notice it's going to be cooler today. Instead of being in the mid to upper 80s, mid to upper 70s, but the humidity is also going to drop, and this is going to set us up for a pretty nice middle week weather forecast, which we'll talk more about for you coming up in just a little bit.
Todd, thank you. We want to take a look at the new number of COVID cases right now. The good news is cases are down. We have 13 new reported deaths, bringing the total number of deaths to 2,363. New cases are 277. So once again, the good news is COVID cases are down. That brings the total to 42,633.
We'll continue to keep you updated on those numbers and what the hospitalization rates are today, but we do want to take a look at how we're working to rebound from this pandemic. Our Amanda Starantino is working on stories for you this week about coping with the stress, the anxiety that comes with social distancing, financial concerns, and just fears for your own health. So she's going to be talking to experts about some resources for you. That's coming up here on Good Morning Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It has helped us look at the inequities that have been going on right in our midst.
Fighting racial inequality in education. Now at 4:30, how one of the state's largest school districts plans to address this issue come fall.
Plus, a Greenwood mother says fears for her children's safety. This morning, she wants done about drivers racing through her neighborhood.
But first, heavy rain overnight proving to be a problem for at least one Indianapolis street. Our TV6 photojournalist Jonathan Christians captured this high water near 30th and Rural Street. A car drove into the high water caused by blocked storm drains, and it flooded out. That driver was not injured, but a good reminder, as we did have that heavy rain overnight, that if you see some standing water on your commute this morning, turn around and don't drown.
Yeah, and so let's check in right now with Todd Clausen from home on what the weather is doing right now here in the Circle City and across central Indiana. Todd, good morning to you.
Good morning, ladies. We're still dealing with a little bit of rainfall across parts of the area, mainly to the south and east. And in some areas, the rain's still coming down quite well and pretty heavy in spots. Probably not enough to cause flooding unless there was a man-made issue like those blocked storm drains. But here's a live look at Storm Team 6 radar right now. And you can see that the heaviest of the rain is by far down to the south with a few lightning strikes there near the Seymour area. And that extends right along US 50 back into Lawrence County in the Bedford area. area down towards Shoals as well. And then as we slide towards the east, Knightstown over towards the Richmond area, we're dealing with some light rain. But that's really just about it, with the exception of maybe a few showers up near Hartford City and Gas City. But the overall trend here for the day today will be for the rain to move out within the next couple hours. You look back off to the west and you already see the clouds breaking apart across Illinois. So we'll decrease the clouds and work more sunshine in as the day goes on. 60s right now across the area with the exception of Bedford at 70 degrees. Highs today will be topping off in the mid 70s. It really turns into a pretty nice afternoon. A little breezy at times with some wind gusts up to about 20-25 miles per hour. But overall, a much better afternoon compared to this morning. We'll talk more about your extended forecast coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic as you're heading out on the roads. Here's a live look at I-70 a little west of Lyndhurst Drive where things are quiet this morning. You may remember that we still have the eastbound side closed between Ronald Reagan Parkway and the South Split for some road construction. That is set to wrap up on June 28th. We'll have the opposite direction closing that's traveling westbound between that same area downtown over to Ronald Reagan Parkway. That's set to happen at the end of this work week. So we'll be keeping you updated on those major changes to your commute, but keep this in mind. This area heading eastbound is still closed. Let's take a turn right now to the near south side. This is I-65 Edgewood Avenue near the 465 ramps. You see some police lights flashing there, but it looks like traffic other than that is moving along up to speed both northbound and southbound. We'll continue to keep you updated on any major issues for your commute, but right now things are traveling up to speed.
On Thursday, Indianapolis Public Schools will hold a community conversation on race. This type of discussion has become more prominent in recent weeks, but it's nothing new at IPS. The district has been making anti-racism efforts for years. Since 2015, all teachers, staff, bus drivers, and even food service employees are required to take part in a 2-day racial inequity training. More than 70% of students in the district are brown and black. And this morning, Dr. Patricia Payne, the IPS Racial Equity Office Director, says addressing racial disparities is a top priority.
We help teachers start examining their belief system, that we aren't just talking about white teachers either. We're talking about all teachers, because racism can be internalized by black and brown people. If their student's skin color is black or brown, automatically, in way too many cases, your expectations sink to the ground.
The district hopes to involve students in this training starting in the fall. And if you're interested in taking part in Thursday's town hall, go to myips.org to register.
Breaking overnight near the White House, clashes breaking out between police and demonstrators here. Tense moments following a group trying to pull down a statue of President Andrew Jackson in Lafayette Park. This morning, as ABC's Alex Brochet reports, President Trump is now threatening serious prison time for those arrested in this park.
Overnight, protesters and police clashing in Lafayette Park across from the White House. A large group breaking through the fence surrounding the statue of former President Andrew Jackson, trying to topple the monument with chains and ropes. The police moving in, making a barrier around the statue. Later, demonstrators setting fire to 2 dumpsters. Reporter Jay Korf with our Washington station WJLA was there.
A huge police presence here. In fact, just within the last few moments, police kind of pull back a little bit into the middle of 8th Street, kind of forming an arc. And, who's to say how much longer folks are going to be out here? We have a sense they're going to be out here for quite some time.
In a late-night tweet, President Trump threatened 10 years in prison for the numerous arrests made, calling efforts to topple the statue disgraceful vandalism of a magnificent statue. Critics saying Jackson, the 7th president and face of the $20 bill, has a legacy tied to slave ownership and military campaigns against Native Americans.
A public reminder of the Native American Holocaust and also of the Black American Holocaust of slavery. That's what Andrew Jackson represented.
In Florida Monday, someone defaced another statue of Jackson in Jacksonville, a city named after the former president. The prominent statue covered in red paint with the words slave owner written on the base. Alex Brochet, ABC News, Washington.
Well, the House and the Senate will each take up police reform legislation this week. The two bills have some similarities, but there's some significant policy differences. The debate is expected over ending no-knock warrants and changes to qualified immunity doctrine, which protects officers from civil lawsuits. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is expected to bring up the GOP bill on Wednesday. The House will take up the Democratic bill on Thursday.
The time now is 4:36, and it's time to take a look at how the coronavirus pandemic is impacting Hoosiers. The State Department of Health confirms 13 new COVID-19 deaths. So far, 2,363 Hoosiers have died from the coronavirus. The Department of Health also reports 277 new cases of the virus. Since the pandemic began, 42,633 people in Indiana have been diagnosed with COVID-19. Now taking a look at the virus's impact on Indiana hospitals. This morning, 38% of Indiana's intensive care unit beds are available. COVID-19 patients are using less than 12% of the state's ICU beds. According to the state health officials, 81% of Indiana's ventilators are available as well.
Well, we are seeing an increase in new coronavirus cases in the U.S., mostly to the south and the west. We're also seeing more testing going on across the country, but health officials say that's not the reason behind the higher number of cases.
So what you would expect is that even though the number of positive cases will be going up because you test more, you would expect the positivity rate, which is the ratio of positive to total, to be actually dropping. Because as you expand more testing, you should be seeing fewer of these new people to actually have a positive result.
Health leaders say it's a behavior to blame for the most part. That includes things like not wearing masks or attending large gatherings. Many of the recent infections in the U.S. are in people between 20 and 40 years old.
This morning, Madison County commissioners have failed to extend the county's needle exchange. The purpose behind the exchange was to slow the spread of disease among intravenous drug users. The needle exchange started in 2015 and was temporarily halted in 2017 when the county council ruled it couldn't be funded by taxpayer dollars. Aspire Health Indiana took over the program in 2018, but the needle exchange was put into limbo after commissioners failed to vote by June 5th to renew it.
Now to a sad update this morning. We've learned that a young swimmer pulled from Park County Creek has died. 8-year-old Athena Welsh from Brazil died at St. Vincent Clay Hospital after struggling in the Big Raccoon Creek near Mansfield. The Clay County Coroner's Office listed the young girl's death as accidental. Welch's death is the 7th drowning death in Indiana in just the past week.
It has been 1 year since RTV6 helped give homeowners in a Greenwood neighborhood a voice about dangerous drivers. Now, 1 year later, people who live in Briarstone say speeding cars are still a problem. Before the pandemic, the mayor was working with the neighborhood to address the issue, and the police chief promised to put out traffic control boxes to monitor the street to see if extra patrols were needed. But residents say they still need help.
I just want to protect our kids, our animals. I mean, dogs do sometimes get out. I'm worried about our animals. As much as a parent tries really hard to teach their kids not to run out in the street, there's going to be accidents.
RTV6 reached out to the city about this issue. They referred us to the police department, who told us they are following up on the problem.
Concerts are set to return to Ruoff Music Center in July with a new look. Live Nation announcing its first ever drive-in concerts for the United States called Live from the Drive-In. This is months after the live music industry went on lockdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic. A set of 3 shows scheduled from July 10th through the 12th at the Ruoff Music Center, That'll be in the parking lot up in Noblesville. So here's what you can expect. Yacht Rock Review will open the series on July 10th, followed by John Party on July 11th. Brad Paisley will be on July 12th. Each concert will begin at 7:30. Tickets go on sale to the general public on Friday morning at 10 o'clock.
President Trump saying at a rally on Saturday he wants to slow down coronavirus testing. This morning, our Scripps political reporter is asking the president to explain his statement.
Plus, Google is doubling down on preventing fake news. After the break, your latest place you'll start seeing the search engine fact-checking information. Todd.
And Lauren, we've dealt with some heavy rainfall throughout the overnight hours. That is starting to make its way out of central Indiana, and it's going to be replaced by some sunshine later today. It turns out to be a decent day after a bit of a slow start. We'll talk all about not only today, but the rest of the work week as well as the weekend coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 4:40. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes.
Apply online today.
This morning, President Trump promising Americans they will get another round of stimulus checks. It's just one of several topics the president talked about with Scripps political reporter Joe St. George, which also included the question, does the president really want to slow coronavirus testing?
On Saturday night, you said that you told your staff to slow the testing down to improve the numbers. Does that mean someone watching this right now on their local news is not going to get a test because you asked your staff?
We do more testing than any country in the world by far, 25 million tests. Other countries do 1 million. Every time you do a test, as you do more tests, it shows more and more cases. So we're so far advanced, both in terms of the quality and the amount, and we're doing all these tests and it shows cases. If other countries aren't doing, or if we did slow it down, we wouldn't show nearly as many cases.
But did you ask to slow it down?
If it did slow down, frankly, I think we're way ahead of ourselves, if you want to know the truth. We've done too good a job.
I have a lot of viewers in Florida, Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, who are still struggling economically, sir. They spent all of that first stimulus check. Are you going to get them a second stimulus
check?
Yeah,
we are. Look, we had this
When are you going to get it?
We had this going better than anybody's ever seen before. We had the best job numbers, the best economics, the best economy we've ever had. And then we had the virus come in from China, and now we're rebuilding it again. We will be doing another stimulus package. It'll be very good. It'll be very generous. And
how much? How much? People want to know.
You'll find out about it. You'll find out.
When are you going to do it? When are you going to announce it?
I think over the next, I think it's going to be bipartisan. I think it's going to be over the next couple of weeks, probably.
This morning you tweeted about how mail-in ballots will be fraudulent. Any specific evidence? Where is the specific evidence that there are
thousands of cases all over? Thousands. I don't like the system. An example. All over the country you have thousands of cases. A friend of mine gets a ballot. His son unfortunately passed away 7 years ago. He gets a ballot for his son to vote. That's one case, but there are thousands and thousands of cases.
And this morning, new college grads have fewer jobs to apply to thanks to the coronavirus pandemic. Glassdoor just released new numbers today showing entry-level jobs have dropped by 68% since this time last year. New grads are focusing on the tech industry. Software engineer, data analyst, and business analyst roles are seeing the most job applications during this time.
A gigantic dust column from Africa's Sahara Desert traveled nearly 5,000 miles to reach Puerto Rico. The thick brown dust can be seen in satellite images and extends from Africa's west coast. Gray skies similar to cloudy conditions were observed in Puerto Rico, especially in the island's mountainous areas. Puerto Rico's health department is warning residents with respiratory problems to be on alert and remain home when possible. Here at 446, we are seeing some rainfall in Indiana. Todd, what can we expect for the rest of our Tuesday?
Yeah, you know, we needed that rainfall here across the area. It's been running very, very dry for this month, so we were able to get some rain without the threat of severe weather. So that is the good news. Here's a live look at Storm Team 6 radar, and you can see that we are dealing with a few showers that are lingering across the area off to the east here in Wayne County, Richmond, back towards East Germantown. Some light showers just south of Newcastle as well, up towards Portland. As we slide a little further down to the south, still some heavier rain right along US 50, stretching from Bedford into the Seymour area, and you see a few lightning strikes there near Seymour. Nothing severe here, and all this rain will continue to move off towards the east pretty quickly this morning. So for the most part, almost all of us are done with the rainfall. It's just going to linger a little longer off towards the east and down to the south this morning, which you can see on TrueCast here. And it's not out of the question once the front finally goes through that there could be a stray sprinkle as we get into the late morning, early afternoon hours. But if you did see that, that would be very, very light. But the overall trend will be for the clouds to decrease, the humidity will drop, and it does turn into a pretty nice afternoon and evening across the area after what is going to be a pretty damp and dreary start. We're definitely going to be dealing with quite a bit of cloud cover still this morning. So as we work our way throughout the course of the morning hours, temperatures are in the 60s and 70s across the area. 68 in Indy, 69 in Bloomington, 68 in Muncie, and 69 is the current temperature in Connorsville. And here's how your day plans out humidity-wise. We're in the mid-60s, which is starting to get a little uncomfortable here at 7 and 10 a.m. But then look what happens by the afternoon. Those dew points are going to drop down into the mid-50s. Those are very, very comfortable numbers for us. And so that's why it's going to turn into not only a brighter afternoon, but a more comfortable afternoon. The only little flaw in the forecast later on today, is going to be a bit of a breeze, as we could see some wind gusts up to about 20 to maybe 30 miles per hour. Here's how your temperatures break down. We'll be in the 60s here this morning through about 10 a.m. and then just slowly warming today with highs up into the mid 70s. A couple degrees below normal, but still very comfortable for us. And as you look at your 7-day planning forecast, tomorrow's a great day, mostly sunny. There could be a stray shower late Wednesday into Thursday. Thursday is a terrific day, 83 with mostly sunny skies. Then as we get into the weekend, we'll bring some scattered storms into the forecast with temperatures in the mid 80s. And that Saharan dust that we talked about in Puerto Rico could be impacting us as we get into the weekend. So we may unfortunately get into those kind of hazy skies, but that remains to be seen. But until then, enjoy the decreasing clouds today, and then Wednesday and Thursday are great weather days across the area. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out there this morning. An active construction zone here south of downtown. You can see the flashing lights there. This is part of that big traffic shift on I-65 near Keystone Avenue, so take it very slow as you head through that area. Watch for people working in the roads. We'll continue to keep you updated if there are any crashes or delays to slow you down. It looks like they're off in a distance in the southbound lane. We may have a few vehicles stopped there. We'll continue to monitor this spot and keep you updated, but right now I think you can just take it slow through that area and use caution.
Google is working to fight fake content. The tech platform announcing it will now highlight information from fact checkers in image search results. Users searching Google Images will now see labels beneath pictures flagged by third-party fact-checking organizations. And it's an expansion of a feature already on Google News and Google Search. Google is using a database it helped develop with Microsoft's Bing and the Duke Reporters Lab.
The Indy 11 will be returning to the field before too long, but for now they're inspiring beyond the borders. Our day first shows us how they're shining on the world stage just after the break. Stick around. The Indy 11 season is expected to resume next month.
This morning, details surrounding the season's return are still in the works. Some players have spent part of this prolonged offseason teaching and inspiring kids from around the world. Our TV6 sports director Dave First shows us how in the Sports Extra Spotlight.
The workouts have returned. The matches will eventually. And for the Indy 11, including Tyler Gibson and Drew Connor, waiting is the hardest part.
Yeah, we just sit and wait and play soccer. I guess that's the difference between us and others, right? It's like some people are still, doing their jobs from home, and we were kind of just practicing in small groups in the beginning, and just recently kind of, opened up into groups of 10.
Until the games return, their uninspiring time has turned into anything but.
This ball has brought me so much joy.
Following the lead of friend and former UConn star Steven Shira, who told the guys some 5 years ago about a program called Around the World, taking the game of soccer to underserved youth on a global scale.
He was talking to me then about he was going to start up this Around the World's program, and we've just kind of stayed in touch ever since.
So with a little extra free time, Tyler sent in his video. Drew sent in his.
Like, it started off as him just kind of telling us, hey, do you want to try and, sit down and juggle and see how many you get, and I'll send it to like all my kids and stuff like that. So it kind of started as just us like helping a friend out, and then all of a sudden we got these videos back from him from kids all over the world, and it was pretty cool to see.
Keep working hard, keep getting touches.
Sure enough, the videos started coming in from everywhere. Senegal, Kenya, Indonesia, Costa Rica. And in a very complicated world, suddenly the simple joy of a child and a ball.
In a way, does it remind you when you guys were kids growing up?
It's really cool to see and what a soccer ball can do. Literally just a ball.
And I think when you see a kid just, working on his skills or just having fun with the ball, it can kind of make you think back to when it was, to simpler times when it was more about just having fun.
The business of soccer will return soon enough. For now, from Indy to the world, inspiring beyond borders. Day first, RTV6 Sports.
All right, thank you there, Dave. Today we're going to see some sunshine returning to the forecast, especially once we get to the afternoon hour. Still a few lingering showers out there right now, and then a great stretch of weather Wednesday and Thursday with mostly sunny skies, 70s tomorrow, 80s on Thursday, before we get into more of a hot and humid pattern once again with scattered showers and storms Friday all the way through the weekend. The time now is 4:57. This is Good Morning Indiana. We're back at the top of the hour. Stay with us. We'll see you in a few minutes.